right. Welcome, welcome. We are live, guys. We're back. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is, of course, another Thursday, and I'm back with you for another episode of The Eventful Life. You guys know we have been talking about in this season, this is season 2. So we have been talking about when we fail forward. That's been kind of the theme for this particular season. And of course, that means I'm bringing dynamic women to you who are sharing their authentic stories about how they've done just that, but how that's also led them to success. That's one of the ways that we fail forward right into success. And honestly, guys, I'm still reeling over yesterday's just the hope, the beauty, the magic, everything that came out of yesterday's inauguration. We're bringing that right on into today, which I hope you're still, floating out there as well. And so I didn't even plan it this way, but it just so happened that right after we got done with all the Black Girl Magic, we're going to keep it going as we get ready to talk to our special guest today, none other than Dr. Cheryl Wood. And I'm really excited to jump into this dialogue with her because for those of you who do know her, you know why I'm excited, because she definitely has been her own fearless leader, has embodied being a fearless leader, and also obviously a female leader out here on her own platform, in her own scope and sphere of work that she does. And so I just thought having her today is so timely, so timely after just witnessing so much history as it related to women yesterday. So, Dr. Cheryl, can I call you Dr. Cheryl?
You can't call me Dr. Cheryl.
Go back, but I feel like, sometimes we need a little bit of pomp and circumstance, and I just feel like today, after the inauguration, it still calls for a little bit of pomp and circumstance, right? Because we get to bask in that for a little while.
Absolutely, girl. I call myself Dr. Cheryl so much. I'm like, I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I am Dr. Cheryl, right? when somebody calls me Cheryl, I'm like, well, didn't you leave something off? You forgot Doctor. Like, I got real used to it.
As you should. Okay. I love it. I'm like, if that is what you earn, then that is what they should call you. So I love it. And I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know, we've been watching each other just continue to elevate for a very long time, but there's nothing like continue to support and root for and cheer for, your fellow sister as she continues to elevate herself, but also elevate others, because we know that as we climb, then hopefully what we're seeing is that we got women that are climbing right along with us as well.
Absolutely. You should never be doing this thing called success by yourself on your own, ever.
Yes.
Ever.
Absolutely. Ever. I know that's lonely. I'm like, why would you want
lonely? Yeah.
Right. So Cheryl, let's dig in, because I know we got a lot of good things, great things, juicy things, y'all, to talk about. So we're gonna dive right in. The first thing I want to talk about is just, as women, I think for a while now, we're starting to see, obviously the world kind of embrace women in leadership. I firmly believe that we are just getting started. But if we look around, we see, Stacey Abrams down there killing it in Georgia. We saw yesterday so many powerhouses from, Dr. Jill Biden, Michelle Obama, our first VP, female woman of color VP. Y'all, I'm never gonna stop getting tired of saying that. I'm just telling you.
Yes. Madam Vice President.
Okay.
Madam Vice
Yes.
President.
And so there are just so many things that are saying women have been ready for a long time to step into leadership, and that we can do it. We can do the work. We can do the role.
Yeah.
But what do you think has taken the world, you know, and I use the world as a universal term, but what has taken the world so long to get on board?
You know what? I think a lot of it, I think it's partially the world. I think it's partially us and how
Mm,
are raised typically as women, especially
yeah,
women of color, which
yeah,
is always be seen but not heard, stay in your place,
right,
um,
right.
be the docile, submissive, quiet.
Mm,
Like we're trained and brought up with those type of characteristics. And I'm not diminishing those characteristics in its proper setting. But I
right.
think for so long it has kept us at the back of the room, quiet, instead of coming to the front of the rooms, taking a seat at the table and
Yeah.
really, really shining brightly in our gifts. There's this movie that's out now on demand, and
Hmm.
it's the Mulan movie. Have you seen that?
Yes, the real life one.
So yes. So
Okay, yes.
one of my favorite parts is when Mulan is a young girl and she's doing all of
Hmm.
this stuff, and that she has the mojo, if you will. She has that special thing, and
Girl,
her
I'm a Disney
father,
fan, so you talking my language now.
look, her father tells her, "You're gonna have to stop it.
Yeah.
I need you to put it away and hide it, because that's
Mm,
not going to get you the husband. That's not going to get you the respect of the community. That's not going to get." And
right.
so you
Don't
don't want
shame us. I think he said at one point, don't bring shame to the family.
bringing shame to the family. And I just
Mm,
feel like, even though we don't, maybe in the African American community, we don't use those words. I feel like there's still this has been this overarching sense of kind of stay in your place, be the nurturer,
yeah,
be the caretaker, be the
yeah,
supporter of your man, of your
yeah,
husband, versus us being, edified to believe that I can do all those things, but I can also do this too.
yeah,
Like I can fulfill my responsibilities, and I can also pursue my possibilities.
yeah.
We haven't
Oh, I love that.
taught that a
Say
lot.
that part again.
Yeah, that you can
Responsibilities,
fulfill your responsibilities while you're pursuing your possibilities.
your possibilities.
And I just think we're now coming into that window in the world, if you will, in history, where women are realizing that I get to decide that I'm going to do both and be both. I don't have to just be one thing. I don't
That's
just
right.
have to be the nurturer and the caretaker taker at home, taking care of the kids or
Yeah.
supporting my man. No, I can actually come to the front of the room and share my gifts and create my legacy using the gifts that I have.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's so true. And I love the example that you used about Mulan, because I think that it's also the fact that we are seeing that, that it's being portrayed that way. And I say I love Disney, but I mean, Disney's been around for a very long time. And so think of how even something as simple as Disney has kind of sat us with this portrayal of who we are before
Yeah,
we even determined who we are, right?
yep,
And so I thought that was so powerful. But you're right, it is this evolution of the woman that is happening.
yeah.
And it's like, no, baby, we not staying back there no more.
No, 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 no,
you
no.
know,
Because
because it's a beautiful
my
thing too.
legacy, yeah, and my legacy is never connected to any other person.
Right.
My legacy is about what I do with my time here on the earth, which none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. So I don't know if, we just lost Jordan 4 months ago, almost 5 months ago.
Right.
Tomorrow will be 5 months.
Yes.
So he only got 20 years to create legacy. I don't know how long I'm going to get to create legacy, and it's certainly not attached to someone else. So
Yeah.
we've got to come to the front of the room. We have to make our voices heard. We've got to
Mm,
share our gifts if we're going to really touch people in a bigger way. And your life should
right.
always be bigger than you. How do you make it bigger
Absolutely.
than you? You make it bigger than you by sharing what you have and what you know with someone else to bless their life.
Yeah. Yeah. As last week I was reading something and there was a nugget. I'm always like lately I do a lot of journaling. And so there was a little nugget that said, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not worthy of you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, like it definitely it touched me a little bit. And I was like, okay, because you're right. Like you have this inside of you. So why would you not put it out there? Why would you not release it? And I think women in particular, and I want you to share on this, Cheryl, we do it differently.
Yeah.
So there's this other caveat too, right? That when we show up in leadership, I think for a little bit, especially in corporate America, we were showing up when we did finally step into it, we were showing up and feeling like we needed to show up and lead the same way that men do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I can attest to that. When I was in corporate America, I did feel like sometimes sitting around the boys table, the good old boys table, that I needed to, well, let me lace up my, let
Yeah.
me pull up my pants and lace up my straps, because I didn't want to be perceived as weak.
Absolutely. And that's why we need more women in leadership roles,
Mm-hmm.
because we need more women who embrace their feminine power and
Mm.
understand that there's something unique that we bring from our feminine power that a man can never bring. And
Yeah.
we need to accept that, own that, embrace that. And the more women who do that, especially women of color, the more you give the next woman permission to do the same thing. So we
Yeah.
don't have to walk like, talk like, look like our male counterparts just because that's the way they do it. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
that's the best way for us to do it. Your power is in being authentic to who you are, how you show up, what your delivery style is. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what anybody else calls it, what they think it should look like. No, that's why you have a unique fingerprint. That's why you have a
Right.
unique DNA other than from anybody else, because you are unique. And so you don't
Yes.
want to try to mold it to what somebody else does and how, oh, well, that works for them because that's who they are. That is
Right.
authentic to them. That's their personality. That's their demeanor, that whatever it is. But how do you shake things up? How do you add new innovation and creativity if
Mm-hmm.
everybody's the same?
Right.
That just doesn't
Right.
take place. So we need more women at the front of the room
Yeah.
leading, because then it gives other women permission, like, oh wow. And I think that's what I love most about the work that I do. I
Yeah.
get more, compliments from women, which that's not even what I go in for. I go in for,
Right.
look, you can live your best life. Like, you know how I am, Janelle. I'm like, look, whatever you
Yes, she be
want, you
hyped.
can create it. You can create it because I believe it, because I've done it in my own life.
Yes.
But more women come back and they're like, oh my God, you're so confident. You're so assured of yourself. You're so authentic. And it's like, that's not even the part I'm trying to give you. That's just a natural. That's just organic. But I love that I
But
am.
that's the part they need.
And I
That's the
love
part
that
they
they're
need.
getting that. I love that
Yeah.
they're getting that in me just being who I am. Like,
Yes.
I don't have to try to be authentic. I am authentic. I don't have to
Right.
try to be comfortable in my skin. I am comfortable in my skin. I'm
Yep.
confident because I've done the work and I've mastered my skill set, so that when I do come to the front of the room, I can show up confident because I know what I'm talking about. So I
Right.
love that what I do in the world, that's what they're pulling out of it. In addition to
Yeah.
all the techniques and the skills and all that, they're pulling out confidence,
Confidence.
authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
transparency,
Mm-hmm.
being willing to share who you are, how you are without apology. And I love
Right.
being a leader in that respect.
Yes. Yes. I think that is, like you said, so important, because honestly, a lot of times we do get stuck in fear, not wanting to share, all of us or who we are authentically, or we're worried about what somebody's going to say, or, things like that. And I think that when we release all of that, and that's probably been the biggest difference I can honestly see, is when we release all of that, when you just finally be like, you know
Oh,
what.
it is what it is.
Listen, I
It's
used to,
freedom, right? It's freedom. That's freedom.
I was just about to say, it truly is freedom, which is one of my core values, because I'm like, you can tell when you are free from all of that. And you're right, it takes that inner work. You have to do the work to get there. But once you get there, baby, you're okay with it, because and I'm a faith girl, Cheryl, and you know this. But I'm like, that's who he created. Like, that's who he created us to be. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't even work in excellence if you're not even being authentic to who you were originally created to be when he designed you and put you here on this earth. So I love that. I love that about
And
you.
you figure you're right, because he didn't give anybody the same fingerprint. You understand what I'm saying?
Come on now.
I got a twin sister,
Come
and we
on.
don't even have the same
Now?
fingerprint. I got a
Yes.
twin sister. We were in the womb at the
And
same
even y'all
time,
different.
and we different. So you think that you ain't different from the other 7.6 billion people in the world? Yeah, nobody has your fingerprint, which means nobody can do it the way you do it. They can't
Yeah.
express it the way you express it, say it the way you say it. They can't make people feel it the way you make them feel it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just they're going to be people who need it from you. But the other piece of that is everybody not going to like you, and that's okay too. So when you
That
show up as
part.
the authentic you,
That
when you
part.
show up in all of your grandeur, and let me add to that, your God-given grandeur,
Mm.
that somebody ain't gonna like you. And you have got to be okay that everybody's not gonna like you. They're not gonna like the way you say it. You too loud, you too much, you too big, you too
Come
whatever.
on,
Guess what?
Cheryl.
No, no,
Yeah.
what I'm not is I'm not for you. And that's okay too.
Yes, that is it right there. And that is okay too. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that because, again, as women, and going back to what you said before, even thinking about how we are raised, we aren't raised that way, right?
Right.
Most of us, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but
Right.
we're not typically raised to be like, oh no, it doesn't matter what anybody says. We're usually raised to be like, mind your P's and Q's. Don't
Yeah.
get out here acting a fool, right? Like, let's just be real.
Yeah.
And so we take that even as a child, and it becomes ingrained already in our DNA. And then when we get older and we become a woman, we step into our womanhood, we still carrying that little girl
Yep.
who's like, oh no, I'm not supposed to get out here and act a fool. I'm not supposed to get out here and speak my mind because I'm supposed to act right.
Yeah, and appease other people and how they
Good.
feel and what looks right and feels right to them. And I'm
Yeah.
supposed to make friends and I'm supposed to do whatever I have to do to keep those friends. Like, girl, bye.
Yeah.
We done with that. We are done with that.
Okay, girl, bye. So with that, we're gonna move on. So let's talk a little bit about your journey, Cheryl, because I think, again, just looking at, what took place yesterday, I mean, just so many examples of women in excellence. And
Yeah.
I know that a lot of them have at one point in time shared their story. We know a lot from Michelle Obama because of her Becoming book and how she
Yep.
was raised on, in Chicago and things like that. Vice President Kamala has started to share her upbringing and how she was raised. And so I find this similarity because I know you share a lot about how you grew up, where you're raised, kind of where you got your roots, and what that looked like and how you kind of had to do your own, like you said, do your own work to step into who you are now. So can you share a little bit, let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that is where, again, we as women, when we're looking to step into our leadership skills and looking to lead or even look at ourselves as a leader, I
Yeah.
think it starts there.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, nobody told me that I had the right to be a leader or a giant or a trailblazer who was inspiring people all around the world. Nobody said that. I grew up in an environment of scarcity, an environment of poverty, right up in Baltimore, Maryland, out of Lafayette Projects. And it was a matter of surviving.
Yeah.
There was no dialogue about thriving, succeeding, creating wealth. Like, girl, all of this was new stuff when I became a woman and discovered all of this. But growing up, it was like, look, do what you got to do to survive.
Right.
Go to school, get out of school, go get you a job. Like
Yeah.
those were the conversations, as
Yeah.
be honest, work hard, have loyalty, go get you a good job. So when I graduated high school out of Baltimore, I didn't go to college for 4 years of higher learning. I went straight from that to work. I literally went straight from high school into the workforce because I
Wow.
wanted to get out of poverty.
Right.
How do you get out of poverty if you ain't working? I couldn't even see past that. I couldn't even see I'm going to get some education. No,
Mm.
I need to go get a job so I can
Yeah.
get out of the hood and pull my mama out of the hood. And that was my whole focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So first I
Makes
had
sense.
this toxic environment saying, oh, you can't be a giant or leader in the world. Then I come into the corporate environment and I really feel like I'm hearing the same words because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, well, you can't be a leader here. You can't be a giant here because you don't have any letters behind your name.
Mm.
So you don't have a piece of paper that you went and
Right.
earned to say you're smart enough, you're good enough, you're
Yeah.
capable, you're qualified. So because you don't have that, you're gonna have to stay right here in this position. For me, I worked as a legal secretary for 15 years. You're gonna have to stay right here. You're not gonna grow. We can't escalate you up the corporate ladder because you don't
Right.
have enough letters behind your name.
And
So
how many times do we see that happen as well, where we like in this box, like, no, you're gonna sit right here. This is where
I'll
we
sit
need
right
you,
here.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
And they're content with that. And they'll
Yeah.
be content with that as long as you're content with it. So I just felt
Yeah.
like the world just kept telling me over and over, who I couldn't be, what
Yeah.
I couldn't achieve. And if anybody knows me, I'm like, I got a very tenacious spirit. I'm like, oh, you're not going to tell me what I can do and who I can be. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Like
That's
God
right.
don't create no junk.
I know
God don't
that's
create
right.
no junk. So if he doesn't create junk, then why can't I visualize beyond where I am right now?
What
Who
my
am
own vision is for myself. Yeah.
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 And so I started working from that place, that mindset, and started
Mhm.
really shifting and thinking, working on the inner me,
Yeah.
who I am,
Yeah.
believing who I was outside of you're not just Cheryl who grew up in Lafayette Projects. No, you're not just Cheryl who grew up as a single parent in a single parent household. You're not
Yeah.
just Cheryl who was a legal secretary without a college degree.
Yeah.
You are Cheryl who you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You are Cheryl who you have phenomenal communication
That's
skills.
right.
You are
Speak life
Cheryl
over
who
yourself.
has
Yeah.
pulled yourself out of poverty, and now
Yeah.
you're making great money on a good job, right? But
Yeah.
there is more. So my
Yeah.
dot wasn't complete yet.
That's right. I
And
love that.
too often as women, we stop our dot too soon,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. We put a period instead of a to be
A period.
continued. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. And I love the power of you saying or reframing who you are
Yeah.
instead of allowing people to tell you who you are not. Like, no, it's not about who I am not, it's about who I am.
And that's work. It
Yeah,
doesn't, I don't want to make anybody feel like it happened overnight, because it didn't. Like
right.
whatever's ingrained in you as a child, as you're growing up, and even into
Oh,
your young
yeah.
adult years, and you like it's ingrained in you. That's why it's called
Hmm.
ingrained. It's a part of you, it's embedded in you. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna root that up, and you're gonna, just like if you're going out in your front yard and you pulling out weeds, that ain't easy.
Mm.
That's some hard work. You
Right.
gotta put on some jeans, some dirty pants, some tennis shoes, and be ready to get muddy and messy.
Yeah.
That's how it is when you are uprooting and pulling out the weeds, the toxic weeds of thinking that have been planted in your mind about who you are and who you can become. So
Yeah.
that took work. It literally took me, like you said, reframing what I would say to myself. And I tell people this
Hmm.
all the time: you better talk to yourself. Tell yourself some really good stuff. So
Yeah.
I started just creating these affirmations and mantras, and I would just say that over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I didn't believe it initially. Can I just be honest?
Yeah.
I didn't believe them. So I'll never forget when I wanted to, when
You're
I
like,
started
girl, be
my
quiet.
entrepreneurial journey. I started my entrepreneurial journey, and I'm waking up every day and I'm saying this mantra: you are a magnet for success. You are a magnet for wealth. You are a magnet for all things abundant. Somebody somewhere
Mm.
is waiting for you in the world, and they're waiting for you to show up. Girl, after that, I will burst out laughing because I had to get up, get dressed, and go to work. So it didn't matter how good it sounded. It wasn't reflective of my reality yet.
At that time.
At that
Yes.
time, in that moment, but it was my job to give a rebuttal to all the negative toxic things I had been saying. And
Mm,
that
that's
was my
powerful, Cheryl.
rebuttal. So the way
Yeah.
your subconscious mind works is the more you tell it something, the more it believes it. So how
Yes.
do you get it to believe something? You got to say it over and over and over and over again, even when it's not true. That's why you have people who are habitual liars and they believe their own lies, because they done told themselves lies so much that they even believe their own lies. You ever met somebody like that? And you be like, are you
Well,
serious?
well, I feel like you might be talking about somebody who just left yesterday out of the
Hello,
out of the
hello,
White House. But
right? Like you tell yourself, you feed yourself those
yeah,
toxic beliefs and thoughts, and that's what you actually believe because you say it over and over and over again. But it's the same effect and impact when you use it positively. That if you
yeah,
keep telling yourself what you're capable of, who you're becoming, what you have to do in the world, the work that you have, the people that are waiting on you,
mm-hmm,
eventually. So I remember about 6 months in, like it literally took a good 6 months, and I would say
mm-hmm,
the mantra every day: laugh, get up and get dressed and go to work. Laugh, get up and get, every day, nonstop. And about 6 months in, I said it one day: Cheryl, you are a magnet for success. You are a magnet for wealth. You are a magnet for all things that are abundant. Somebody somewhere is waiting on you in the world. They're waiting for you to show up. And I was like, you know what? I didn't laugh. That's how I knew that
wow,
even though it wasn't tangibly manifested yet,
yeah,
that everything I had been saying to myself for those 6 months was intangibly fueling something in me.
it
It
was,
was intangibly
yeah,
shifting my thoughts, my beliefs, my everything about who I was,
yeah,
which in turn meant my actions would now start to align with my beliefs.
what
So
you
in that
believe,
time when I said it and I didn't laugh, and I was like, you know what? Why can't I? Instead, I'm
right,
starting to reason with it. I'm like,
right,
maybe I actually
right,
can develop abundance. Maybe I can develop wealth. Maybe somebody is waiting on me in the world. And that's all you need, is that little glimmer of hope.
yeah,
That little
yeah,
glimmer of hope was literally kind of the start of propelling me to where I was going to be and who I was going to become.
That's so good. That's so good. It almost reminds me of the sales process when somebody gives you an objection and you know, some people are like, oh, well, does that mean they don't want it? I'm like, no, that means they're thinking about it, right? Because I'm like, you have no objection if you didn't want it. If you didn't want it, you'd be like, oh, I'm good, you know?
Right.
But I'm like, if you give an
Right.
objection, then I'd be like, okay, wait a minute. So you actually are considering it. So I feel like you gave yourself an objection, like, hold on,
Yeah.
wait a minute, why not?
Exactly. Why can't I? I'm capable. I'm equipped.
Right.
I feel like I've been called to something greater. So I got to give myself permission. That's my
Yeah.
hashtag this year, permission granted. I got to give myself
Mm.
permission to explore the possibility that there is something greater. And that's
Yes.
where a lot of us as women, we struggle, is
Yeah.
giving ourselves the permission to
Permission.
explore something new and something different, because we get scared that, oh, I might put a lot of time and energy and money into it and it won't work. Scared that, oh, I might come to the front of the room and people feel like, oh, well, why is she doing that? Who is she? I don't care what you
Right.
think about me. I don't care. Like, can you tell on my face? I
Right.
don't care. Like, because there
And I
are
love the
more.
way you put the emphasis on the air.
I don't
Like,
care, right? Because there are more for you than against you. I
yeah,
promise you that there are more for you than against you.
yeah,
And so you got to just show up in your own brilliance and
yes.
know that you get one chance at life. And we hear it all the time. But when you lose a
Mhm.
20-year-old, your 20-year-old
I was just
nephew,
about to say, you guys saw it in action. So,
look, it is not, it's no longer just a cliche that life is short and
mhm.
life is precious. We lost our dad in 2009. He was 59.
Mm.
No, it is not, it's not a cliche for us. It is
Yeah,
real that you
yeah,
don't know how long you're going to get to create legacy. So you can't afford to put what you gonna do on tomorrow's to-do list. No, it got
right,
to be on today's to-do list. Legacy has
right.
to start today.
Today. I love that. I love that. And what we saw play out on such a larger stage yesterday was the manifestation of legacy. It's like
Yeah.
when you do make that decision to step into it, you just don't even understand how not only is it about you, but it's about
Yep.
so many others that are coming
Oh God.
coming behind
Do you
you.
see how
You
many
know?
people posted pictures, including myself, the pictures with pearls and the
Oh,
that, I
girl.
mean, if you didn't get any other glimpse into
Yes.
the fact that your life is about you, but it ain't for you,
For you.
that
Ooh,
was it.
that was it.
Yesterday was it. There were hundreds of thousands of photos on
Yes.
Facebook and Instagram and
Millions.
social media of women who were posting because they were so inspired and moved by somebody else's story. Your
Yes.
life and your story is about you, but it is not for you.
That's right. Ooh, I love that. I just got chills. That's so true. So powerful. I love it. Yes. It is true. And we as women, again, we have to understand that and get out of our own way
Yep.
because it serves the world, our community, our career, jobs, our homes. I can't think of an area or a place in which us stepping into our leadership does not get impacted when we decide to take our place. And that kind of leads me into the next question, which is what do you believe happens when women do? And you kind of alluded to it a little bit with the example of, everyone dressed up in their pearls because honey, yes, it was
Right.
a whole entire vibe, a whole one. But what do you believe happens when women do lead? Like, how do we start to see that domino effect of people and places and things being impacted, in all those different environments?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Everything is impacted. Everything in every space that we serve enrolls as women. So in our households, that's impacted. So for me, when I say household, I'm raising a daughter.
Yeah.
And I want my daughter to grow up knowing that you get the choice to be a strong Black woman without apology. A
Mm,
strong woman of color who, yes, you open your mouth and you share your perspective and
that's
you come
right.
into the room and you know that you belong in the room,
With your
regardless of
head
who wants
high.
you. Yeah,
Yes.
regardless of who wants you to dumb down, you don't dumb down for nobody. That,
Yeah.
yes, you step up to the plate and you honor your God given assignment, whatever that assignment is for you. If it's writing, then write, baby, write. If it's
Yes. I know
speaking,
that's right.
speak. If it's baking pies, bake pies. Like do it with everything you got. Give it all that you got. So in my household, it's impacted because now I'm not just telling her, I am modeling for it for her.
Modeling it.
And
Yes.
there's a quote that says, in order to achieve it, you have to be able to see it. You have to
Mm.
see it. You can't even believe it if you can't see it first.
Right.
You can't
Right.
achieve it if you can't see it. So
Right.
I am her first role model of her seeing a woman who refuses to simply sit in the back of the room quietly, but
Yeah.
instead I come to the front of the room and I say, how can I serve? How can I help? How do I create change in the world? How do I innovate? How do I bring my gift to this space? How do I collaborate and add greatness to other people's lives and greater happiness and joy and peace and contentment to other people's lives by sharing what I know? So that's the first stop right there, is like in your household.
In your house. And I always say it starts at home.
It
That's the
starts at
place
home.
it
And even
starts.
with my sons, because what I'm showing them is, son, you don't have to be afraid of a strong woman who's a leader. Right? Come on.
Listen, Cheryl, you better get out of my house.
Right? Because I don't want them to be afraid of that, because the world has been afraid of a strong Black woman for so long. They've been afraid of us, asserting our leadership and coming to the front of the room. I want my sons to see that and expect that they're going to find a woman who is fulfilling responsibility and pursuing possibility.
Yes,
like,
you're setting the bar.
Yeah,
you're setting the bar.
They need to think something wrong. They need to be like, well, wait a minute, you ain't got no goals, you ain't got no mission, no vision,
no vision.
I don't understand this.
Like, and if anything, they like, my mama is not having it, so who's gonna need you to find something?
Right. Janelle, they'd be like, oh, I can't take you home to my mama. Oh, you got to have a vision and a mission statement. You got to have something that you try to do up in this life. Do you know your story? That's what my son's gonna be asking. Do you know your story? Because my mom gonna ask you what your story is.
Oh Lord, that is too funny. But it's the truth. It is the truth.
But kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. That's the reality. Right. And so we are setting an example in our household. We're impacting our household first. And then that just expands out from there. It expands our communities. It expands in terms of our wherever we serve, our faith-based community, as well as our local communities. It expands into politics. Like a place where we can serve. When one woman steps up to the plate, she gives the next woman permission to try it. Let me give this example. So I hosted my very first conference, women's conference, back in, I think it was 2014. The Playtime is Over Women's Business Conference.
I remember, I was there.
You know what gave me the courage to host that conference? What gave me the boldness was that I watched Doreen Rainey host her conference. And I went to that conference for 3 or 4 years. And the final year that I went, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this.
Wow.
I think I can pull together some women in a room, pull together some great speakers, inspire them, empower them, equip them, give great content. I really think but I could only visualize it and believe it because I could see it. So she became, because she stepped up to a leadership position and she played all out. It organically, without her, she didn't have to come to me and say, Cheryl, you should do a conference. It organically impacted me. So in other words, when you as a woman step into leadership, it becomes infectious. It becomes contagious.
Yes.
You want to be, I want to be contagious. I want to be contagious.
I want to be contagious. Girl, and in the world of COVID, it's like, are you sure?
Not COVID contagious, but I want to be leadership contagious.
We got to distinguish, but we good. We good.
I want to infect other people with the belief that yes, I can too. If she did, so can I. If she's an international empowerment speaker traveling the world and speaking for all these big organizations, and she started off from nothing, then so can I. I want to be infectious in that way.
That's right. That's right. Oh, I love it, girl. Yes. Okay. We're gonna give snaps out here. And I know they out there chatting. I can't see y'all comments right now, but I know they out there chatting. But that's so good, Cheryl. And I love the fact that, you pointed out how it's like a domino effect. You don't even realize, because I've heard women say before, well, I'm not a leader. I don't see myself as a leader, or I don't think I could ever, be like you or be like a leader. And I'm like, I truly believe every single woman has leadership ability. It may look different.
Yeah.
And you may serve, like to your point, you may serve differently.
Yeah.
But you have that capability to show up and be that leader in whatever capacity that is for you.
And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be Kamala Harris.
Right.
You don't have to be First Lady Michelle Obama to
Right.
make impact. And I think sometimes that's where we get confused. And especially in the social media world right now, everybody
Yeah.
makes it seem like, oh, you got to be this huge influencer with millions of followers to impact lives. I don't have millions of followers, but I know good and well I am making so much impact in the world
Right.
with the people that I'm called to touch.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about quantity, it's about quality.
Quality.
And you
That's
don't have
right.
to be in some big political position. You don't have to have a big title. You don't have
Right.
to be that person who's a celebrity with millions of followers or an influencer. You get to be you and still be a leader who's going
And
to
still
create
be
change and impact in the world. And it's
Amen.
okay whether you have 100 followers or 1,000 followers. It doesn't matter.
That's
It's,
right.
are you giving them the best of you? Are you playing up to your fullest potential so that they can have a vision of what it looks like to play up to your fullest potential?
Right. And I don't need followers. I need partnerships. Like, can we get that straight? I'm like, we don't need followers. We need partners, right? Life partners, business partners. We need partners, accountability partners. Like that's
Absolutely.
what we need, you know. But I love that. So just to close things out, I want you to give us one good piece of Dr. Cheryl advice. Okay, if we're out here, if a woman's out here listening, what's just one piece of advice if she's struggling with moving beyond some of those fears, some of those doubts?
Mm.
What's one piece of advice?
I'm just gonna give it to you like it is. I'm gonna give it to you raw.
I
Nobody,
wouldn't expect nothing
look,
less.
nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's
Mm,
coming to rescue you. If
yeah.
you want more, you better get out into the world and demand it. There's a quote I live by: you don't get what you deserve, you only get what you demand. So are you
Mm.
going to get out into the world and demand that they take notice of your greatness and your gifts? Are you going to get out into the world and demand that they hear your story? Are you going to demand that you use your fingerprint to touch other people's lives? Nobody's going to come and do it for you. You've got to plant so many seeds you lose count,
Mm.
so that when the harvest starts to come in and you start to see the impact that you've made, you understand that you are meant to be there. You're standing in
Yeah.
position because of the planting that you did, because of the deposits that you made into the dream. So whatever that success looks like for you, and that's relative to each of us, but
Yeah.
whatever it looks like, whatever playing all out looks like for you, whatever honoring your God-given assignment looks like for you, do it. Stop waiting on somebody to tell you you're good enough. Stop waiting on somebody to come and tell you you have permission. Stop waiting on somebody to tell you, oh, you're enough just as you are. No, you already are. You are enough just as you are. And there are global blessings. Let me just say this loud and clear.
She
There
said
are
global,
global
honey. She
blessings,
say local.
global blessings with your name engraved on it.
Mm.
When your name is engraved on it, do you understand the power of that? That means no one can come and claim it because it already has your name engraved on it. And also
Yeah.
no one can prevent you from getting it because your name is engraved on it.
It's
So
already on it.
Kamala Harris is Madam Vice President Kamala Harris because that blessing had her name engraved on it.
It was already
Our
doing.
young lady, Amanda Gorman, that opportunity had her name engraved on it. So you can't compare, compete, and covet what somebody else got, thinking, oh, I should have had that. No, that wasn't meant for you. Your name wasn't engraved on that. So stay focused on your lane, in your lane of unique brilliance, and what you're called to do and who you're called to impact. And remember, if your name is engraved on it, can't nobody stop it. Can't nobody take it from you. So just keep showing up in brilliance, and everything that you are deserving of is coming. It's coming, and you're not going to be able to stop it.
Girl, where my shoe? Hold on. Look, you know we at home, so half time we'll wear no shoes, but I'm still looking for one.
Girl, under this dress, I got leggings and Uggs on. I'm just saying, Ugg slippers, leggings and Ugg slippers. I got you. I got you.
Oh, that's so good, Cheryl. So good. I love that. Your lane of brilliance, and can't nothing stop it.
I'm telling you, y'all blessings are about to chase you down. They about to chase you down.
I've been calling 2021 the year of breakthroughs because we've had so much that has happened in 2020 that has revealed so much to each of us. You know, so it's like once you and we had some breakdowns. But honey, once you have those breakdowns, usually there ain't nothing but a breakthrough right behind it. And so
that's so funny that you say that. So I have a book coming out, and it's a book anthology project for women. And it is called Bouncing Back and Breaking Through. That is the name of the book. Okay. And it is about courageous stories of women who break through life's unexpected challenges.
Look at that.
And so we are definitely, you know, great minds think alike. We're on the same
Yes.
page. I hope that everybody who is watching this or will go back and watch the replay, that you really remind yourself of how much the world needs you. And I don't mean all 7.6 billion people in the world, but I mean there's a segment of the world that is
Yeah.
waiting on you to show up, and they will not move. They will not become leaders. They
That's
will
right.
not grow and develop until you show up, because they won't be able to get their blessing from anybody except you. So you got to show up.
Oh, listen, y'all. Look, it's not Sunday, but Cheryl's about to take me to church, and I'm trying to keep from getting up and running around.
I said,
I know I need to stay right here, right?
well.
But Cheryl, tell the people where they can find you, how they can stay connected with you. Y'all, she pours and pours. And again, I think girl, we've been connected for maybe 8, 9+ years. I don't know. It feels like forever, but
Yep.
this is what you get every single time. And so I just want to go on record and say, girl, you pour it out every time. I don't care if it's 1,000 people or one. You bring exactly
that's our job. That's
who
our
Dr. Cheryl
responsibility.
is.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's our responsibility. So yeah, connect with me all across social media at Cheryl Empowers. You can also go over to my website, CherylEmpowers.com, and you can sign up to be a part of my VIP community list there. It's completely free, and you get a freebie. So you get my signature story template, because I am really big on women really pulling back the layers of their story and sharing it with the world so that somebody else is impacted in a greater way. I have so many amazing projects that are going on right now. I think I have 5 book projects that are coming out this year. We just did this one. I'll show this real quick. We just did this one. This is volume. You probably can't see it. Volume.
Yeah, I was about to say, hold it. There you go.
Of Women Inspiring Nations, and it's called I'm Still Standing. Can you see this with the back? Look, we have 44 women, 44 who shared their story in this anthology project. And now I have 2 more projects that are already full, and now I'm working on the bouncing back and breaking through. So my mission is, I have a heightened sense of urgency about helping usher more women into their brilliance and their success, right?
Yeah.
Because with Jordan, us losing Jordan just 5 short months ago, it just increased. You like, oh, I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I got stuff to do. I gotta get it done today.
It hits home. When it hits home, it takes on a whole nother meaning.
A whole new meaning. And so I already had a sense of urgency, but it's a heightened sense of urgency. Like, I'm gonna help as many people as I can. I'm gonna speak as often as I can. Somebody getting a speech every day. It might be the kids and my husband, but somebody getting a speech every day, because I'm gonna honor my God-given gifts for as long as I have life in my breath in my body. And I challenge you to do the same thing.
Awesome. Well, I love it. Y'all stay connected with Cheryl. Okay, Cheryl, you ready for the rapid fire? All right, y'all. You know, this is something new we started this year with season 2. I give my special guests 5 questions. I call it my rapid fire, and they just have to, whatever comes off top. So you cannot hold me responsible for what comes out of their mouth, okay? They don't know these questions beforehand. Right. So number 1, what do you like to do for fun?
Didn't we just talk about this? Okay, you know what I love, but we can't do it right now? I love Broadway.
Ooh,
I love going to Broadway shows. It is one of my favorite things. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. 2, what's one stereotype about moms or women that drives you bananas?
You know what I hate? I hate when people are like, well, why can't you still just keep it sexy even when you got kids and stuff? I don't understand why people let themselves go. Girl, do you have kids? How many you got? You got more than 1 or 2? Then don't talk to me. Don't tell me nothing about keeping it sexy and whatever. And you ain't got no kids. It's just you and your boo. I don't want to hear it.
And we do. We just have different ways, okay?
Yeah, get out of here.
Who is your BFF in your head?
Oh, in my head, Michelle Obama. I really love her. But my real BFF is my sister, Cherie.
Oh,
I love her. Oh, I love her to life. I love her to life.
I love y'all. What do you dream of becoming?
That's a good question. What do I dream of becoming?
Oh, we're still becoming.
I dream of becoming a household name in the personal development and motivational and empowerment industry. Like a household name, like you know the name, because I'm touching so many lives and I'm so committed to my work.
Well, honey, you're already there, so we don't. Okay.
A global household name. A global household name.
Okay. Add the global. Favorite song and why?
Oh man, my favorite song. Okay,
I love her expressions.
golden. I love living my life like it's golden by Jill
That's
Scott.
good.
Like
Jill
it is
Scott.
always my go-to song. It just makes me
Yes.
feel good. And
Yeah.
I want to live my life like it's golden every day that I have an opportunity to.
Good job, Dr. Cheryl. I think I stumped you a couple times, but I love it. I love it. You kept it.
I was like, ooh, that's good.
All right, y'all. Well, this is it. And listen, oh, I'm sorry. I almost forgot. Y'all, we got a little bit of a bonus. So after this, meet me on over at the Eventful Life IG Live. We'll do some unplugged talk. And so we're gonna talk. We're gonna chit chat. We're gonna kiki a little bit. But I want y'all to meet me over there. But thank you so much for joining us here. Dr. Cheryl, listen, you know, whenever we get together, it is nothing but love. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and for just, allowing us this time together. Guys, we'll be back not next week. So next Thursday, there'll be no show because I'm going to be in Jamaica, Mom.
I'm trying to go to Jamaica. I have to reach out to you. I'm trying to schedule a trip to Montego Bay.
Yeah, let's talk. It's going for our Women in Business retreat. So let's chit chat. But y'all, we will be back the next week. And of course, I'm going to be ready to talk to y'all after coming back from Jamaica. So we're going to got lots to talk about.
Tell Winston I said, hey. Tell Winston I said, hey.
See y'all next week. Okay, thank you for joining. And Lord, y'all know we having technical difficulties. Okay.